Hotep, Black Power, giving honor to the Creator, giving honor to the ancestors. As always, giving honor to my sister, giving honor to Chief of Staff Brother Harris Abdul of the Street Law Soldiers, giving honor to my father, my in-laws, my family, and comrades who are in the ancestral realm as we speak today, and also giving honors to you all, as always, especially those who are fighting for the liberation and salvation of the black nation. What I wanted to discuss today is I told you all about my uncle making a transition to the ancestral realm last week. Well, today he was laid to power, and may he rest in power. And as he approaches his initiation day in the ancestral realm, and that may we ask the ancestors and the Creator to embrace him, for he well, in my eyes, he well deserved it to be in that realm. Powerful brother George Tillman, and he was a professional piano player. So if you hear a piano playing in the background, that's paying homage to the God who was a professional. Matter of fact, for those who may not know, he was best friends with Petey Green, the late ancestor Petey Green, and which he played a couple of songs on Petey Green's last show that he had aired on television in Washington, D.C. And he was exceptionally well gifted, you know, with his hands to be able to, you know, strike those chords and have that, you know, Tovin Bay, which we know as Beethoven, but we know Beethoven was a Moor, he was black. And Tovin Bay, you know, my uncle had that particular type of talent and that particular Tovin Bay energy. So, as always, you know, we give our ancestors the salute. You know, we wish them well in their travels, that they may save space for us and vouch for us to the Creator to allow us one day when we make our transition to become ancestors as well. You know, and his homegoing service was shoulder to shoulder, you know, to let you all know how much he was loved and respected. So, you know, as we pay homage to our brother George Tillman, we wish him well, and that he may continue to grace some of the babies that are coming to the planet with that type of talent, with that type of gift. And once again, we say Ashe, brother George Tillman, and give him a salute. Ashe. You know, what I want to talk about right now is something that I've been, you know, putting together, you know, based on a lot of different issues, based on a lot of situations that have taken place within the black community and globally, that, you know, we're going to have to really get our shit in order. We are the most disenfranchised people on the planet. We are the most hated people on the planet. And after 5 centuries of being raped, pillaged, torn apart with horses, beaten, murdered, hung, lynched, we still have not come to the conclusion that this cracker, this European, this devil is our natural born enemy. And no matter what we try to do to try to make this motherfucker like us, it is not gonna ever happen. You have a natural enemy, which is this cracker, which is this devil. We are the only people on the planet that at the end of the day, we're at the bottom of the totem pole on everything. Economically, spiritually, morally, mentally. Mass incarceration of the black community is flooded and bombarded with police terrorism, drug and alcohol abuse, incest, rape, crime, unemployment. Our people are so disenfranchised, living in some of the most deplorable conditions in mankind. You know, and our ancestors, they gave their lives for us, that they would be continuity in struggle. In other words, that we would pick up the fucking torch of liberation and freedom. And if you think you're free, you need to think again. And this is the illusion that has been placed on our minds, based on the fact that we've been stripped of our spiritual culture, we've been stripped of our morals, our principles, our folk ways, our cultural way of thinking, our heritage. We've been stripped of everything. And the illusion is to give you a few material items. Just give the far and few in between who may have special talents and gifts to give the illusion that racism and global white supremacy does not exist. And you know, and then for some of you who think that you are not in bondage, that you are not an indentured servant, take a look around in your community. Take a look around at the hopelessness and despair, look and energy that takes place around you and your people. Even when you look at the Constitution, we're still not free. There has never been a ceremony of any sort to declare us free human beings on this planet. Now, this is the entire trick. We were here in the United States. We were the first people here. We allowed this Ice Ape to come over, rape and pillage us, sabotage the entire country, take over, kill, murder 70 to 80 million of our native Africans here that were here before the arrival of the Ice Ape. And now he has you thinking that they were here before you, that you came just on a slave ship. Only 3 or 4% of people of color came here through physical and chattel slavery. The rest went to South America and other parts of the Caribbean. You know, because we were here before the Ice Ape, before the arrival of the Ice Ape.
Kind of makes me wonder why the hell so many
people
are trying to tell me to slow down. Seems like motherfuckers should be shutting the hell up and enjoying the show.
We have a long way to go. We have a long way to go. You know, and if we don't understand and teach our people who they really are, because these babies are being miseducated. You know, that's one of the reasons why I wholeheartedly support the vision that Umar Johnson has into recreating and restructuring the minds of our babies with these schools. And most of us, including myself, we all have been miseducated, misinformed in terms of who we are. Our ancestors were stripped of their spiritual beliefs, their cultural practice, their economic status. They were stripped of everything and were beaten into submitting to a religion called Christianity. And this religion has our people so fucked up right now that we're waiting on a non-existent deity to come and save us. Now, let me ask you this. If you know that a blonde-haired, blue-eyed Jesus was forced on our ancestors, and you know we didn't practice that. That's not innate in us. That's not in our energy. That's not in our spiritual being. Why do we continue to practice it? Because of the adrenaline of fear that was placed in our ancestors along with the religion. In other words, let me give you an example. Some of the women were cut open, their babies were cut out of them, the men were split in half with horses, and the adrenaline of fear was injected into the child, and which was passed down in our DNA to today. Because we are literally afraid to denounce these fucking religions. We are afraid that something is going to happen to us if we say fuck Jesus, if we say fuck the Bible, if we say fuck Christianity. We actually believe in our minds that something is going to happen to us.
People are trying to tell me to slow down. Seems like motherfuckers should be shutting the hell up and enjoying the show.
You know, it doesn't make any goddamn sense. So what do we do at this point? How do we break the chains? How do we break the psychological chains of slavery that are on the minds and hearts of the masses of black people today? Answer this question. Answer this question. How do we get out of these conditions? How do we get out of these situations? And if you're not clear, let me give you another example. Every other race of people, the Asians, the Indians, the Ethiopians, the so-called Jews, every other race of people that has denounced the religion of Christianity has prospered in all areas of their life. In all areas. In 1600s, the Chinese denounced Christianity. The 1700s, the Japanese denounced Christianity. And all other races have denounced that religion, with the exception of black people. And black people are at the bottom of the barrel in all areas. And the same people that enslaved you, that has enslaved us, and that continues to enslave us and hate us, we support him. We spend all of our money with them. We're the biggest consumers to our enemy, to our oppressor. We love our oppressor. We're praying one day that our oppressor will have a change of heart and decide that the 5 to 6.5 centuries of torment that he has placed on a race of people, the original people, because we were here before anybody. We were here before anybody. There wouldn't even be any other races if it were not for the original man and woman on the planet. But we don't act in no way like the gods and goddesses that our predecessors have fought and died for the last 5 centuries. So at this point, how do we get out of this? How do we get out of these conditions? We're the biggest consumers. We still practice Christmas. We still practice these Euro holidays. We're still under mass control. When you watch the movies, when you watch TV, when you watch any television shows, it always has the black in a deplorable state. He's at the bottom. The white man is always the savior of the world. Batman, Superman. The black man is the fastest man on the planet, but when you watch the movies, the white man is the fastest man on the planet. The Flash. The black man is the strongest man on the planet, but when you watch the movies, the white man is the strongest man on the planet. And it's always slavery movies. They always have these slave movies playing for us. You know, you never see any movies about the Holocaust. Never. Never. You always see 12 Years a Slave, Django, Amistad, you know, where the black man is in a deplorable condition, excuse me, and he depends on the motherfucking cracker to get him out of that situation. And then they'll have 1 or 2 crackers that have savior roles, that have an overwhelming compassion, that has the ability and the power to free the black man from his current condition of being in bondage. You know, this is the sickness that is injected into the minds and hearts of our babies. Food, they use food as a weapon. You know, our people are addicted to synthetic oils. You know, we only can eat what we can afford. So that leaves us with, once again, just like in slavery, when our ancestors had to eat the scraps, once again, we're eating scraps again. You know, and while the dominant society, while our oppressor eats the finest foods that are on the planet. Police terrorism. The black man and woman is not respected and not honored in any way. They gave 5 or 6 black people time of 20 years or better for killing animals. But look how many white policemen were acquitted for killing black men and women. So, if you come out your fucking mouth and say some sick shit like there's no racism in this country, that we've come a long way, that we're moving towards some fucking goal together, you know, in unity and harmony, you are out your goddamn mind. You are out your fucking mind. How can you even think to say some shit like that when you watch your brothers and sisters being executed on social media and national television and in the media? And then they convince you, because most of you, in order to not fight, because you're too weak, you become a coward. So you take the side of the oppressor, and they use you as cannon fodder to fight against your own people and defend the injustices and these motherfucking brutal murders and executions of our brothers and sisters. So, what do we do about this situation? And then, when you have brothers and sisters and grassroots movements brothers and sisters that stand up to the injustices that take place. You agree with the oppressor when he states that they are militant, that they are out of control because they are not falling in concordance with the social order, which is to be a good slave, stay in your place, don't rock the boat. See, you hear all of this shit, and these are terms that were used, you know, by house slaves in the 1800s, and we still use those terms today. And so what they do, they dress up a few of the slaves and put those slaves in front of the plantation to make it appear that all the slaves look like that and are being well groomed and taken care of like that. That's just the illusion. Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, Ray Lewis, Stephen A. Smith, Oprah Winfrey, Stacey Dash. You know, those people give, that's the illusion that they give you, that you can make it too. You can be a Michael Jordan. You know, all you have to do is denounce your people, and we will provide you with wealth. But anytime you get out of line, you're going to have to face some severe consequences, such as your father being murdered, Bill Cosby, such as your son being murdered. And any entertainer that is very, very outspoken, that is fed up with oppression, Tupac Shakur, Left Eye, Pimp C, you know, people of that status, you are set up and you are terminated, you are executed. And any leaders that we have that are on the forefront, they have met the same demise. And so that puts fear, once again, puts fear into the masses of the people, where they become afraid to stand up to the injustices. This is how deep this shit is. Because a lot of you that, you know, talk this big gangster shit, you know, you're being used. You are being used. You've been trained to hate yourself. You've been trained to kill your brothers and your sisters. You've been trained that doing drive-bys make you a man. Killing another black man makes you tough. Because you have an overwhelming hatred for your brothers. Because that's how you feel about you. And so you've been told through movies and TV shows, because that's all they show and depict. The majority of the movies depict us in these type of roles. You never see a movie where, a Toussaint Louverture movie. You never see a movie like that. You never see a movie where black people are fighting the oppressor. And if they do not win. Because that gives the masses of black people, especially our babies, hope. And it also reveals the true nature of this fucking cracker. So you will not see those, you will not see that. So what they will play for you is a lot of action thrillers, these fake superheroes, these fictional fucking characters. Because they're really talking about you, because you are the superhero. You are the savior of the world. You are the Superman. Everything that they're talking about that has superior powers, they're talking about you. But they're not going to tell you that. Because they have to keep you in a subordinate mindset and subordinate level. So what they do, they'll keep You know, keep you on welfare, keep you receiving food stamps, keep you receiving help and relief, because that's the level that they want you in. They train our children to play sports. They don't train our children to become entrepreneurs, to become Supreme Court judges, to become corporate tycoons. They don't train them to do that. They don't train them to be lawyers or social workers or doctors or surgeons. They put a basketball or football in their hand, and every Sunday they watch them run down the cotton field every Sunday. And so, your position on this planet right now is currently, you are in slavery. Just because you have a truck, just because you work for the government, just because you're able to buy a couple of outfits. Because back during slavery, a lot of the house slaves had those type of privileges. They were trusted with the horse and wagon to go in town and buy bags of sugar and were able to be treated to a shirt or a vest or a pair of shoes once a year. And nothing has changed since then. But we don't want to see that. And when you got people like Snoop Dogg, informants, hip-hop artists who are secretly working for the CIA, the FBI, the LAPD, the Las Vegas Police Department, to provide information and intelligence about their own people to the oppressor. In exchange, you're allowed to become on these cooking shows with these crackers cooking food. You're all on every award. You're on comedies. You're on cartoons. But the people that stood by you, that was about liberation, you assisted in their demise. And those are the rewards that you get. You know, and a lot of y'all already know this, but you continue to support these informants, to support these agents of the oppressor. Same way with 50 Cent. You know, he was rewarded royally for the demise of Jam Master Jay and Chris Lighty. Both of them were managing 50 Cent. But in order to get out of those contracts without giving up a dime, both of these brothers met fatal endings. And it's no coincidence both of them were shot in the head. And now 50 Cent, he's all on the networks and television. Now he was hated too. Coming on, he was shot 9 times. See, because they had to get somebody to replace Tupac that didn't have a brain. They couldn't think for themselves, that they could control. They could still have a thug image to keep the people, our babies in the hood, murdering each other. You know, so, you know, and right now I know I'm touching nerves like a motherfucker. But this is the shit that we need to hear. You know, and my suggestion to you older brothers and sisters, begin to do research. Even those in the so-called conscious community. Stop being so selfish and just thinking about yourself, wanting to get paid for every piece of information that you provide the unconscious brothers and sisters and the masses of our people. Because that's not your information anyway. You got it from somebody else. You may have researched it on your own, but somebody else put it there for you to retrieve. But you want to get, you want to be royally paid for, for some information that can save the lives of our babies. But yet you want to be labeled as someone who's a pillar in the fucking community. When you're an agent yourself. When you got people like Brother Polite who plays on the lack of knowledge of our brothers and sisters and and rapes them financially, rapes them economically. You may get by, but you won't get away. It's time for us to start being true to this shit, and stop the bullshit. Cut the bullshit out. Stand up, brothers and sisters. Stand up, black man. Stand the fuck up. You sisters, stop chasing a fucking illusion. Stop looking for something that doesn't exist. Look what's in front of you. And put that religious shit to the side. And look at the true black gods for those who are fortunate enough and have been blessed to have black gods. Because some of you don't even know who you are around and who you're with. Because you've been trained to look for everything except what you're supposed to look for in a black man or black man and a black woman. So, it's time for us to wake up, brothers and sisters. And I wanted to, try to pass this information on. I may not have done it in a formal fashion like I wanted to do because I was rambling off and on in various different subjects, but I still wanted to get the bulk of the information to you so it can fill you with the energy of wanting to be liberated. Freedom is not given. Freedom is not going to be given to us. We have to take it. We have to fight for it. And it has to be won. Hotel, Black Power.